Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are featuring this rather good looking Longines. This is part of the Legend Diver series of watches, and what's nice about this series, it's available in a whole host of different sizes. So what we have here today is the 39mm model. This would be my personal what I would go for personally, but there's also a 42mm model. There's even a 36mm model. The only thing I would say with that one though, it doesn't actually have the same movement as what's featured in the larger two models. It's also available in like PVD. You can also get it with a bracelet, though I don't know about the bracelet. I do prefer the look of the silicone strap or some of the other straps they have, as I think this just looks amazing on a strap rather than a bracelet. But before we get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to the team over at First Class Watches of Kenilworth for allowing me to review this piece. Lots of very cool watches like the one we have here, but also brands you're not quite so familiar with. So if you're in the Kenilworth area, I'd strongly recommend popping into the shop. If you're a little bit further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below and at the bottom of the page. Now, all I ask is if you do contact them, please mention the channel, as it really would help. So anyway, let's talk sizes. As we've said, this is the 39mm model. The thickness of this watch is coming in at 12.9mm. The lug to lug, longest point across the body of the watch, this is what is all important for how it actually sits on the wrist really. This one is 46.7, so a very wearable size, and the strap on this one is coming in at 20mm. But the dial, let's face it, is just absolutely gorgeous. It's got this real inky black dial there. It's one of these, I love the gloss you get off, and the shadow you see on this. Catch it at certain lights and you can see a reflection of the actual second hand as it glides across there. It is absolutely beautiful, really nice. I do like this one. And you've also got all this kind of printed on hour track here, which some people prefer applied markers, but on this style I think it is absolutely solid. And one thing I have to say is the lume on the watch. The lume is pretty cool because it's a bi-lume, so you've got both blue and green depending on which parts you're actually looking at. It's very nice. I like the fact that you just got Longines, you've got their logo and automatic here. So many companies, almost like the Seiko in the background here, have to put a couple of chapters of wording on there. This is one of those watches where less definitely equates to more, I would say. Anyway, you've got a nice polished hands. Catch them in a certain light and they do look really nice. You can see the decent amount of lume we have there in that kind of the unusual kind of shaped hour hand there. It just looks great. But what you may have noticed is we have this kind of raised up chapter ring. But being that we've got two crowns, this is what's called a compressor style dial. So if I undo this crown, I believe it's this crown, I've got to double check, undo this, and it is a screw down crown. As you can see, we have an internal rotating bezel, and it is buttery smooth. It is really smooth. So I like it. There's no click system to it or anything like that. It just goes where you place it. As is a kind of, like a lag between the gears as you go one way or the other. Not really at all. What's interesting is this is completely separate to the actual movement. The reason I know this, I serviced one of the older models of these not so long ago, and when you drop the movement out the actual case, all this bezel arrangement stays inside. It really is quite cool, unless you want to clean it, which makes it somewhat problematic. So all I'm going to do now is line it up there. So as you can see, line it spot on and then press the crown in and screw it in. And it locks in perfectly. No problem at all. We have this lovely domed crystal on top here. It is absolutely superb. It's obviously sapphire. does have AR coating on there and does a really good job as well. And what's nice, you catch the kind of hands in certain areas and you get a sort of like a bit of distortion, as you can see there as we're looking at it. It does look really, really good. Back in the day, that would have been obviously in acrylic crystal, but we're in sapphire. It's a little bit more usable for every day. Overall, superb. Now, the actual body of the watch, well, I would say obviously we've got a polished bezel going on here. The case of the watch is a sanitized finish. We do have a nice big sculpted section going on there, so it makes it a little bit kind of more comfortable on the wrist. The polish work on here is absolutely exquisite. No problems at all. The crowns have got this knurling kind of etched on the end of it, and both of them are screw down crowns. This, after all, is a 300-meter diver. And it is so nice to actually wind. It's beautiful. So it goes straight into hand wind. Is there a go state? Let's check actually. Let's have a quick. No, that goes straight into hack. So I don't think there's a go state at all there. No, it just goes straight to hack. So there we go. And screw that back in. Overall, absolutely gorgeous. Come around to the back. We've got just basically a solid case back on there. Let's pull this sticker off here so we can actually see a better view of it, he says. And there you go. That's the back of the watch there. Absolutely lovely. Anti-magnetic, it says. This watch does feature the L888 movement on there in the back. I put it on the time grapher and I think it was coming in at plus 2.5 seconds, but this is a chronometer spec movement. So even though you sometimes see me do time grapher readings like I did on this one, and it's a straight line, when you put it on its side, it doesn't mean you'll always get that. With a chronometer, it means all of those levels, all the different positions this watch can be timed in, have been done and leveled out, and it must be below, I think it's what is it now, -2 plus 6, something like that. I always forget. And that's how you know it's a good quality movement. If I can get any watch to appear to be 0 in one direction, but it doesn't mean in one position. It doesn't always mean it will be in the other positions. One thing I have to say with this, the price. I think retail of this one on the silicone strap is coming at £2,850 before any kind of discounts, and it comes in an absolutely massive box. Maybe a tad overkill, but there you go. It's still an absolutely gorgeous watch. I do like it. One thing I should also say about the movement in this, it's the L888 is basically, I think it's based on the 2892. So you're talking service intervals should be every 5 years or so. I serviced a watch, an Omega, which has got a variation, the 1150, which is very, very similar. And that hadn't been serviced for years. And because he'd left it so long, it actually damaged one of the posts where one of the wheels sits, which was on the bridge. And it's damaged beyond repair, really. It works okay, but the winding is no longer buttery smooth or anything like that. And because that bridge also happens to have a serial number of the watch, problematic. If he wants to get it replaced, you'll always lose that, which is a shame. This movement also has 72 hours of power reserve to it. Basically, what they do is the original movement beats at 8 beats per second. This one beats at 7. So they slow it down, and you do get more actual capacity out of this. I think they're not I think the SW300 variation does about 56 hours. This one is a little bit longer, obviously, but overall it's superb. My personal choice would be on this kind of style strap. One thing I would say though is, if you notice, the strap kind of points down, so if you're on a larger wrist, it means that it sometimes wants to kind of lift up because it's you've got this angle going on here, where a normal strap, if it wasn't for this, would actually come out in a line. So can be problematic. It is worth trying before you buy. That's all I can say on that one. Let me put it on my wrist so you got an idea how it looks. Let's zoom out. Quick wrist check. I am still wearing my hand heart because I really like it, and I need to get a review of this one out soon. This is the 1954 Heritage model, just been released, and it's the one with the red pusher. That's the way of actually kind of pointing out, and a fly back movement. Bob is wearing what I consider actually a really good looking Seiko. I like this one. It's quite a nice looking watch, I think. It's their 1968 Heritage model. My wrist size is, what is it? 7.25 inches, 7.25 inches. So that works out around about 18.5 centimeters, I believe. And that's it on my wrist. I think the watch looks great, but you can kind of see there how it it's going against my wrist there. I can feel when I run my hand on there, you can feel it kind of go in and then bulge out. So it's I would still get this one personally, but do be aware if you've got a slightly larger wrist and you still want the 39mm model, maybe a normal strap might be the way forward. But still, I don't care. It looks absolutely tremendous. Let me know in the comments what you think of this one, guys. But most importantly, you'll stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.